Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session with your host,
Michael Rearden.
Shruti, thanks so much for coming on. We're going to be talking about your work. I know you do so much more, but today I'm just going to kind of make it a basic for everyone, holistic health coaching. And I'm going to pass you the reins and you can tell everyone what you do in its totality. And then, of course, after you're done with that, tell them your unique story.
Sure. Thank you, Michael, first of all, for calling me on your show. It's a great privilege and honor. So I would say yes, holistic health coach is multifaceted, and basically people don't understand what holistic health really means. So I would want to clarify that. Holistic means approaching the mind, body as a complete total entity, not separating them. So what I like to do, I also call myself as a cancer coach because I'll share my journey, how I came into it. But holistic coaching, I would say components of your physical body, talking about nutrition, taking care of your exercise, plus taking care of your emotional health versus any trauma or any sort of blockages you have there, which also prevents you to moving ahead and creating this like non-abundant lifestyle, and hence understanding the root cause that your emotions play extremely important role in you getting diseases. And that's where I like to educate people as to how did they come where they are right now, what is the issue they are suffering, connecting the more physical and the mental space both together. So that is my job. Secondly, yes, I do a lot of emotional energy work, including yoga, breath work, and I'll bring some components of Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is just not medicine, it's also a lifestyle. How you move, how you breathe, how you eat, how you sleep, everything together. It's basically a lifestyle transformation. So that's what I try and do when people come to me, and I try and look from each and every angle, from the spiritual, from the emotional, from the physical angle, and try and change their health condition from that place onwards.
How would someone know that they need help with their holistic health, nutrition, overall total emotional well-being? Is there something that you can maybe guide people to understanding where there's like, if you are in this position or in this place, then you should look for some help?
Sure. So first of all, if from an Ayurvedic point of view or from a Vedanta point of view, I would like to explain people is that how are you feeling when you get up? Are you able to, let's just start from the moment you get up. Are you waking up fresh? How was your sleep? Are you positive during the morning? Because the morning is like, you're waking up and the body is supposed to rise up and feel fresh, feel refreshed. And how are you eating your food? How are you bathing? What thoughts are coming into your mind? Are you anxious? How are you taking your work-life balance? Plus, how are you doing any physical activity? Are you even wanting to do any physical activity or not, first of all? Because a lot of people have this constraint. They just do physical activity because they are pushed to. But you should like to walk, you should like to go out, you should like to go out in the sun. And how is your social life like, right? Are you inclusive? Are you exclusive? Are you trying what is your relationships with your parents? How is your relationship with your spouse, your children? Each and aspect is a holistic, from a holistic view. So if there is any constraint in any of this area, you need help, or you need to look at from a very different angle. Because when you look from that holistic angle, there you can realize that, okay, I need to, if supposedly I'm not feeling well, I don't wake. For my example, I was never an early morning person. I always woke up so late, like 9, 10, and my mom used to shout at me. But I didn't know that it was some nutrients in my body, or I was deficient in certain vitamins and minerals that was making me lethargic. I never knew from that angle. But when I changed certain things, my body automatically is now in it just automatically wakes up because it's rested well, I am eating the proper food. So each and every aspect of your life, you should look from that angle, from that perspective, and not wait for anything drastic to happen, such as a disease, because no matter what, as being a cancer patient myself, prevention is always better than cure.
But the reality is, many people are going to wait for that trauma,
I
that
know.
bad news from the doctor before they wake up.
Yes.
And I always tell people, like, like, why wait for those rough moments in your life to take action and to take initiative? And I understand why, because the brain and the mind, they just love easy. We're on cruise control. There's nothing really bad. Yes, we have some stress. Yes, we have some anxiety. Yes, we didn't get some good sleep last night, but we don't necessarily see it in the bigger picture, but it compounds over time. So one day turns into a week, then a month, then a year, then now
Yeah.
you're figuring out, like, oh my God, like, am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? And I remember when I was in my early 20s, I had been training for a marathon and I had tweaked my hamstring. And me, I'm stubborn. So I was like, I'm still going to go run. And I ran this 5K. Mistake number one. I developed sciatica after that. And I'm in my early 20s, 22, 23. And I'm literally taking Advil PMs and to go to sleep. And I'm taking, just a Tylenol to get through the day. And I'm a teacher. So I'm literally walking in the hallways and dancing and stuff. And it was difficult. And I'm thinking, I'm in my early 20s. Is this life? Like, like, am I going to be having to take these pills every day just so I can move? And then, something came into me. I was like, I have to heal. I have to get better. It wasn't, so much of like, oh, I can't get out of bed and things like that. It was more of a lifestyle choice that I said, I don't want to be reliant on these drugs. I want to be reliant on me. And that's so powerful because after that, I did yoga and I did a bunch of movement things to help me heal from that. And I was able to learn what I needed. But it wasn't so much of me saying, I know how to do things by myself, or, oh, it's going to pass. It was, I had to take action. It wasn't something that, like, I can wait 5 years and it would be fixed. I know sometimes people like to throw things in the closet, sweep things under the rug, and they hope that it will go away. What is the problem with many people doing this in their lives, sweeping things under the rug, throwing things in the closet? Because it seems like that's what people tend to do initially.
Yes, I mean, you're so right and bang on, and thanks for sharing that story. It is a very powerful wake up call. The problem, I'll tell you what my problem. I was the same, stubborn. You're youthful. You think you can rule the world and you can go out and do whatever you want. And I had severe acne problems. Like my skin is cleared out right now and everything, but I had severe acne problems, and I wanted a quick fix. I went to the doctors, and they started giving me birth control pills at what, at 16, 17 years, maybe at 15 years. And that, I never knew. I took it, and it was all okay and everything, and it used to start coming back and back once I stopped it. And I went to the top dermatologist, everything, but I never started looking from a very different perspective as to what am I eating or what am I putting in my body. But that time, first of all, I think right now, because of the podcast, because of people who are so passionate about speaking, that I didn't we weren't as educated. I was not educated about health. I was just like, okay, go to your exercise, eat XYZ food, and you'll be healthy. But that's not the case. Each and every aspect matters, right from your physical to your emotional to your psychological. Right now, what people are, first of all, the work pressure. I think when I look back, as like the pressure of, say, if you look from the millennials point of view, they kind of compare themselves with each other. Social media, oh, they are looking certain way, they want to be like slim, they're going on fat diets and not realizing each and every individual needs are very different. And thirdly is that the social pressure, I feel, is humongous on these kids. They have to work in certain manner. They have to earn certain amount of money. They really want to go out, and they want to do everything. So the health perspective, because you're youth and you think you just can take a pill and it will never have a side effect. They think that they are the masters, and they'll just conquer everything, not realizing that it will have this, as you said, the compounded interest. You have to pay, the body will pay. But because they feel that they're infinite, maybe, and nothing will happen. I think this whole societal thing, the social media adding to it, is creating a lot of confusions, plus a lot of competition among the youth, I feel. So I think one of the reason is because of this. What do you think?
Well, when it comes to social media, especially with our younger generation, peer pressure and peer acceptance is predominant to, a parent's wisdom because they
Yes.
want to be accepted by their peer groups and their friends. So
Yes.
they will do things that might not benefit them long term, but immediately it would give them some sense of gratification. Sometimes we can look at social media and we can see everything that's perfect. And then we can
Yeah.
look at our life and we see that our life is not perfect.
Yes.
So then we start to put ourselves in someone else's shoes when the reality is that we already have shoes on that we need to be worrying about. And the more we give our power away to individuals, meaning like you have power over me because you're better than me, because in your mind, you're saying that this person is better than me. And you might not mean it, but like subconsciously, that's what's coming to your mindset. So we have to look at the emotional response social media is giving us. And I know, I can't speak for women, but to look at social media and there's all this competition and there's all these girls and you're in a sea of, all these beautiful women and
Yes.
you want to stand out, you want to be pronounced. So what do you do in your mind? What is that process? I don't necessarily know, but what I can tell you that is if you follow that path, typically you find stress, anxiety, fear, like a plethora of issues that can turn into bigger problems later on. Now, what I will say women do extremely well is they get help. Men are typically the ones to say, you know what? I'll do it by myself. I'm going to fight through this. A woman will get self-help, personal development,
Right.
some type of support more readily. And this is important because, social media, I would say, is more for women than for men today, even though men are, are definitely consuming it. But
Yeah.
this is something that we have to look at the emotional response, so you have a young teen or young adult, they see, this perfect lifestyle and they try to get it, they vie for it. What is the negatives to that long term if they continually go down this path that is not true to their identity?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful question. I feel I see, and the conversations going on with the new millennials or somebody who's, say, a client who is like a millennial, and I just it was very shocking to talk to a lot of people who have these chronic issues, especially in their 20s. So I was talking to someone, a young woman in, I think, 18 or 19 years old, who got diagnosed with breast cancer. It was so shocking, like really shocking. And she had a lot of stress in her life earlier on, maybe some traumatic situations in the childhood. And what I feel is this whole burden of being someone, as you said, like comparing yourself to someone and really wanting things. First of all, we don't, at that certain age, like when you're young, you want everything. You want everything which is also not good for you, not realizing that it can harm you. So it all starts from the grassroots levels, I feel. Even in schools, and even the parents put a lot of pressure on the children also, that you have to get some XYZ grades or XYZ marks, and you need to go to this activity, you need to go to this activity. Like, we're forcing children to become superheroes from the age of what, 4 5 years old, not understanding what the real that kid wants, what are his choices, what is the real thing which he wants. And that, I think, really affects the personality, and that doesn't mold that child into something, and he doesn't connect with himself. He only connects with the outer world because he has been given this impression that I have to look good, I have to have XYZ grades, I have to have some qualities, no matter what it is conflicting. And that conflictions happen from, and it goes from that certain age to your elder. And when you get to certain point, I said, oh my god, I am not this person I thought I am. And then, there's like a whole, I feel that we have to unlearn so many things as an adult, because we've been taught certain XYZ things, and you have to really find again yourself. So it starts from the grassroots levels, and like, it's such an important topic what you've brought, that we have to, the good health, the good generation, if you really want to build right now, it has to start from your childhood. I've seen in America, not in America, now in India also, the obesity is rising. Like, one of the root causes of cancer is obesity. I was reading some article, and it's not even genes these days, it's obesity. And a lot of people in US, the children are obesity. India, I've never seen children obese. Now all they want to do is all eat chocolates and like colas and candies and everything, and we've never have eaten those kind of foods earlier. The It's like McDonald's and KFC have become their to-go places, and parents have also put those, because it's like shortcut for them. Just go grab a burger from McDonald's, and that there you are. People are not really understanding that it has long-term implications. So I think it is, for us, it is high time that we take a step back. The parents, the children, the society, everything, the community, the school come together and understanding. Okay, are we going to build a generation which is full of sickness, which we with the generation is going to get sick, or we want a healthy body and mind, because that is going to lead to generations of healthier people again and again.
When it comes to, being a parent and raising your child to be the person that you would like them to be, it is like a blank canvas. And you are the artist as a parent, right? You get to decide what schools they go to, if they go to school, or you get to homeschool them. You get to decide what type of content they have in their developmental years growing up. So if you give them an iPad while driving, or you say, look out the window and enjoy the world.
Yes.
This is something that you have to realize, that everything that you do helps build them up, or it helps tear them down. And you have to build the strongest child that you can in our world today, because you have to be strong. And there's a quote or a saying. They say, do not be afraid to educate or train or develop your child to be a dragon slayer in the time of no dragons. Because to be a warrior or to be a fighter, to have that spirit, is something that, even if you are in times of peace, that is powerful, because it's going to give you that spirit of someone who can overcome the challenge of adversity and struggle. Because if we look at our world today, a child that maybe gets a bad grade, gets bullied, things don't go the way, there's a problem. They shut themselves in, they become recluse, they become cold. And if we look back just 50 years, we had that fighter spirit, or, parents had that fighter spirit within them. Like, if something didn't go their way, they're like, well, I don't, like this, so I'm going to adjust it to what I'm looking for. And it's not so much of entitlement, it's so much of understanding your power. And in a sense, people relinquish their power. They relinquish their power to heal, to live, to be happy. And it's something that we have to understand that we shouldn't be giving this away so readily.
Yes.
Why are individuals in this mindset of being powerless rather than being powerful?
Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful, again, what you said is so true. Again, I feel people, like I have nephews and nieces. I don't have children of my own, but when I see them, uh, they get happy with simplest thing. They don't really want, if you get them time, attention, love, care, they don't even want to see the mobile. Like, I play with my niece and she would be happy with like a smallest cute little toy versus the phone. And we give them this habit of just take the phone and just leave me alone, right? We don't have the time and the capacity. Maybe it's because we are busy, we have bills to pay, we have to earn. But again, I would say it's all the matter of priorities. Like, if we are bringing a child into this world, first of all, we need to sit and understand as parents that what track, it's like it's basically an institution itself. Like, it's a kind of homework for rest of your life. How are you going to build, like you say, it's a canvas, right? How are you going to bring in this child? What are the values you're going to put in? Because you have to be a great example in front of them. Your children are going to copy you no matter what. How you are together as a husband and wife, how are you doing things, how are you eating, right? It's most importantly, how are you presenting the food in front of them, how are you reacting, how are you, so everything, little things matter. And if I feel that, because we have so much burden, we've put so much burden on ourselves of earning XYZ amount, this and this and this. We have to pick and choose our battles. We cannot do everything together. I mean, everything has its own time. But if you are bringing children together, you must have those priorities set, and how you have to like discipline yourself. I think most people, I feel right now, the parents, they lack discipline in eating, in giving their children what they want. Like, they will, you have the money, you can throw things at them. Like, okay, you want this, just shut your mouth, right? So you have to set some values in front of them, and that's how I feel they will learn, and that's how they will grow as. Because if you are not a good example in front of them, no matter what you do, it will have an effect, an impact on them.
Very true.
Yeah.
The millennials, they grew up in a time when their parents were extremely busy and almost passive to an extent, where they thought their actions were enough to show love, so they would take them to Disney World and they'll do all these things and they would sacrifice. And they
Yes.
thought that if I show you this, this is enough for me to say that I love you. But one of the top complaints from millennials to their parents is that they didn't say, I love you enough. They
Yeah.
didn't spend meaningful time with them. So time that was spent with them was watching movies together, being in front of the TV, not really talking. And so what they did was when they had children, they wanted to give their children the life that they didn't have. So they're about 70% more active than than their parents. And what's happening with this generation, because it almost seems like you are fixing what was wrong with you, and then now you're creating new issues for each generation, because every generation is going to have a different perception for how
Yes.
they view their parents. And what's happening now is, if you take away all the hardship from your child, they don't understand how to overcome any type of adversity. So these
That's so
parents
true.
love their children
That's so
100%,
true.
right?
Yeah.
They will fight their fights for them. If they see them struggling with something,
Yes.
they will say, you know what, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Maybe back in the day when they were young, they wanted McDonald's, a Happy Meal, Burger King kids meals.
Yes.
They wanted something, pizza every week. Now they're giving it to their kids because they are saying in their heads, I didn't have it when I was growing up, and this was something I
Yeah.
truly wanted. And now
Yeah.
it's causing a plethora of health issues, as you said early on, obesity, and then that's going to cause now anxiety because now they have to look a certain way, but they're overweight. They might be being made fun of. They
Yeah.
can't properly move, so they're not confident within themselves. And now we can see just how each generation, it seems like we're trying to make progress, but we are always taking a step back because we can't see the whole picture. What is the whole picture when it comes to not only generations, but health? Because if we wake up in the morning and we go for the bacon, egg, and cheese with all the grease and stuff, it might taste good, but we don't see the consequences of it, not only within our time span, but within each generation that passes us. What would be something that is more maybe economical and stronger or more supportive long term for someone to adapt into their life or to incorporate into their life, where they say, you know what, if we follow this system, if we follow this approach, not only are we going to be healthier and happier, but everyone else that follows us will. Because as you said, the kids are paying attention to the things that we do and the things that we do not do.
Yeah. And that's right. And yeah, we have to look from that perspective. And I would say there are so many things you can change, right? From just go to your pantry and see. I mean, I would like to not even go to the whole food, like the food store. They have so much processed things. So look in your pantry, just remove all the sugary stuff and just keep very simple stuff. You can have an oatmeal in the morning and not have sugar. Instead of sugar, just put honey if they don't eat. Like, you need to change your habits of your kids. If they are really addicted to sugar, do one thing. Instead of giving them sugar, just replace it with a better alternative. At least start. That would be the first step, I guess. Just having first thing going into cheese and bacon, maybe just have a simple oatmeal together, sit with them, add some blueberries, put some seeds and nuts and all, everything. That's very economical. That, I think, everybody will have good fiber, it'll have good proteins, it'll give you the nourishment as well. So doing that. And also, say for example, you cannot cook at home, maybe if you're going out, so having sustainable options, like just taking one meal as a salad, maybe just adding some green vegetables, doing green smoothies. I don't think so that's very expensive in the morning. Instead of giving them like a whole chocolate milk or a milkshake of strawberry and adding again sugar, maybe you do a fruit smoothie, right? It would be as simple as possible and very economical. So you can make that small little steps and drink with them, like show them that you are also consuming the same things as they are. So that will make an impression in their mind that, oh yeah, my I am somebody is also, because children need support, children needs that kind of encouragement, that drinking healthy and I look healthy, talk to them in a certain way. Having that option, like having some greens in your, having a portion of vegetable every day, it can be cooked, it can be salad, that is economical, and that will be more or less expensive than just going to maybe getting your any kind of meal from the restaurant. That is more economical. Cook together, involve your children, but you need to change first, that you don't want to go and just
Mhm.
have the coffee and the bagel in the morning, instead of just having together and deciding the meal. Okay, today we are going to do green smoothies. Like I generally make my niece excited about the food. Oh, today we are going to eat spinach because maybe you'll get strength, or Bugs Bunny would eat a carrot, and look how healthy he is and how fast he runs, and look at papaya, he has spinach, and how muscles, big muscles he has. So we have to like train their brains, and you must do the things yourself. So like, having green vegetables in a day, having some green, maybe just smoothies, and having oatmeals instead of those processed cereals which has, I don't know how much amount of sugar in it, is a good start, and it's pretty economical. I think everybody can do it. Having more, like a lot of children these days are dehydrated because either they are drinking Coke or they are drinking sodas. Instead of that, just give them like lemon water and honey, or just a better option, or just a lemon water, and that would be more sustainable for you, and that they will hydrate themselves as well. So changing their habits into something better, I don't think so. It's like, it's a myth that eating healthy is so expensive. I don't believe so.
Very true. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up, because if you're not feeling well, one of the first things I would do is check your diet. Because if your diet is not right, then you're not going to be right, your body and your mind. And you just have to be able to figure out, all right, is this food beneficial to me? If you're eating a bunch of sugar, for example, it might taste good, right? It's sweet and everything, but it's packing on the pounds. It's messing with your brain. It's probably giving you some type of fatigue or some type of cloudy mind. And you can't have that when you're trying to progress. Because if you want to be a better version of yourself, you have to be in alignment to what that person is at the end. So you have to be able to envision the person that you would like to become. And then when you see that person, you have to say, what are their habits? Are they going out and eating cake and ice cream and hamburgers and hot dogs?
Yeah.
Or are they doing something that's a healthier option? And as you said, 100% correct. It is a myth that people think that, being healthy costs a lot more money. And the reality is, no, being unhealthy is going to cost you more money in the long
More
run.
money. Yeah,
Think of
absolutely.
all the medical bills that you're going to have to pay
Yeah.
because you're not being healthy today.
Yes.
And this is something people don't pay attention to. It's almost like they say, well, the upfront cost is more right now, but the long term you're going to save. People only can see the $5 versus the $7. So they're like, well, this is $5, so this is cheaper. This is what we can afford. But the $7 will probably be better long term. You're going to save more money on your health and everything like that. When we look at the aspect of a person trying to, change their diet, their emotional state, just trying to live more holistically, more naturally, going out more into the sun, there's going to be many roadblocks along the way.
Yeah.
The biggest roadblock is comfort. We love comfort. The brain loves to be in homeostasis. The brain loves to find a nice, comfortable spot. We like
Yeah.
to say that we look wonderful all the time. So we spend money on designer clothes and on the best makeups and on the best, gym memberships. And we hope that this is enough. But comfort also has to be fixed with a good set and a good amount of accountability. Because if you can't remain accountable for the things that you do and the things that you don't do, you're going to continually seek that comfort, but the negative type of comfort. I'm not saying that you can't have a comfortable life, but there's
Yeah.
going to be good comfort and bad comfort. And typically, one of the best things I believe a coach does is they are not only accountable for you, but they raise your level of homeostasis, meaning the level of life that you have right now, you might be okay with it. But after working with a coach, you elevate your level of life. And it might take some time. It could take months. It could take years. Maybe I'm not sure where you are, because depending on how harmful you were to yourself, it could take some time. Think of if your room is dirty. You have to clean that room. It's not like, okay, all of a sudden you snap your fingers and your room is clean. You got to pick up the dirty clothes. You got to bag up the dirty trash. It took time for that to
Yeah.
accumulate. Unless you had a party, then, it was one day.
Right.
We have to be able to see how much time we have spent hurting ourselves and then kind of look at the timestamp for how long is it going to take us to get better. What is your time frame typically when you work with a new client? Because results are big for people. People
Yes.
love the instant gratification, as we talk. They want the instant pleasures in life. How
Yeah.
long can you expect, or should a client expect, for them to be in a better place mentally and physically?
Yes. Yes. And that's so true. Everybody wants like instant results. They think, some people I've worked with, that I've changed my diet for a week. When will I get when will I lose my pounds? Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I've dealt with certain people like that. But Okay, I want to discuss very important thing over here from with me. When I was going through cancer and I had this chemotherapy going on, before chemotherapy and after chemotherapy. So before the chemotherapy, I was not inclined towards nutrition. I was doing whatever I could. But then I started working with a coach myself. And the first two chemos was brutal. Like, I can't even tell you how brutal it was. Like, I thought I'm going to die. Uh, when I changed my diet and I was going through, I could see the results each day, like, because I had this connection with my body. I started maintaining having this connection. I could see small little nuances every day of change, because I took a step back and I was really like mindful of those changes. And you won't believe that, it had such a profound change on my thinking, on my fitness level, on my side effects. And in that, like, after 4 chemos, the cancer was completely gone. Because obviously I did a lot of things, worked on my mindset, worked on my physical body, emotional body. A lot of healings were going on. But all I want to say is, at first, that it all depends upon in an individual. But if you are disciplined and if you really work on yourself and you are in that acceptance mode and of letting go mode, I feel that even in 21 days, you could start feeling the difference. You could noticing the difference in your body, in your mindset, if you do the work. But the work is like, your coach can only guide you. Like, you can only guide the horse till till the river. He has to drink it. He has to drink the water, and then only his thirst will go. So you have to do the work. And I have never seen any individual in my 4 or 5 years of experience that if they do the work, they won't see the results. That's hardly the time. Everybody in 2 weeks or 3 weeks of time starts noticing results. Like, they will definitely see results. So I think it is an individual perspective, and also their doing, I feel. But initially 2-3 weeks, I feel, is good enough to change, because every 21 days we change our palate. Like, the mouth palate changes, our habits change, a lot of things change. So 21 days is a good time to keep in mind that, okay, I'm going to do 21 days and let me see what happens.
Yeah, it's important to understand change within yourself versus the goal that you're trying to reach. For example, if you wanted to be a certain weight, of course, like if you are 100 pounds overweight, 21 days might not be enough, right? If you want to do it in a healthy, set manner.
Yeah.
But how you feel in those 21 days with just diet changes, mental changes, yoga habits, meditation practices, all of these things are going to change how you feel. And it does happen very quickly. We do have to understand that. And it's so important that we don't go alone. We do this together, because if we have been doing the wrong things for so long, typically you're going to wait until something bad happens in your life and you're going to say, oh, this is bad happening. We have to be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, this needs to be changed. And if you need help and guidance for that change, you have to reach out to someone. You have to say, you know what? It is time for me to have a new stage. It is time for me to have a new year. It is time for me to live in a new moment. It is time for me to live in prosperity and abundance and meaningfulness. All of these things that we vie for, we have to overcome our lesser version of ourselves. And if that is you, you have to just, again, find someone who's going to be that support system for you, because it is, our systematic approach to how we raise children that kind of leave us into this mindset of where we are as adults. Many adults are just not equipped to handle adult problems. They have to learn through it.
Absolutely.
But sometimes it could take too long to learn through it. So sometimes we need some wisdom. We need someone who has already walked the walk and lived it. And then for them to give us the secrets of their wisdom and of what they have found that work not only for them, but for their clients. And I believe that it's going to be, reaching out to you today and trying to figure out, like, how can we get back to a healthier style or a healthier way of being? Where is the best place for people to reach out to you?
Yes, so they can reach out to me. I have my website called www.avanahealth.com. That's AWAANAHEALTH.com. They can reach out to me on my social media handles. Shruti_Sethi_ is my Instagram. I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn. So anywhere, I mean, just type in my name, Shruti Sethi, cancer coach, and they can find me.
Excellent. And I love speaking with you today. Always love getting a different perspective. I learned so much from speaking with you today. And it's so important, for us to continually educate ourselves and for us to enhance ourselves as we go. What would be a takeaway you would like the audience to have?
Yes, I would say don't compartmentalize your health. If you are going through certain anxiety, if you think you are depressed, reach out, talk to someone, because that is the beginning of something which can transpire into something big. So don't wait for a huge setback, as you said, setback, and then only we wake up. But now the plus point of social media is that people like you and people like me, they are trying to help with our stories, that listen, you can reach out to the right people and you can find the right people. It's not hard. It's the willingness of the individual. You need to open your mind and understand and take a step back. Okay, you need help, first of all, to reach out to people, and please educate yourself. There are holistic ways of dealing. I mean, one pill is not an answer. It's the inside outside approach rather than outside inside approach. So that is something which is extremely important, because I feel people have a lot of they're just in this pool of in a well right now, where they don't know where they want to go or how can they come out of it. But it's simple, taking one step at a time, and you will see the light. So all I want to say is just reach out and work with a mentor, work with a coach like you or me or anyone that has walked the walk. That's what I would like to say. Yeah.
When I read your story and I learned about the work that you're doing, I said, I have to speak with you, have to have you on, because that's so powerful, because there's so many people who are living in their story and they're saying that their story has no good ending, but the good ending is going to be something that you get to decide. So if you're ready to change that ending, begin today, reach out to us, be sure to share, like, comment, do all these things, and to give yourself that invigoration for change. So I want to thank you so much, Shruti, for coming on and just talking about your work and sharing your story with us today.
Thank you, Michael, and really kudos to you for doing your work, bringing out such an enlightened guest and coming out with a podcast with such beautiful questions. I'm sure you're making a difference to the world and the people who really need it. Thank you so much.